So let's take a little bit deeper dive on how exactly OpenSpace deploys services like virtual SATCOM services, such as a virtual TDMA or FDMA hub or SCPC services. So let's take, for example, that a customer wants to deploy an FDMA STAR network to service a number of remote cellular tower sites. One of the examples would be that our customer has done a system design and understands that they have a number of sites that are non-terrestrial based where they want to connect those sites via satellite. In this case, each one of those sites being a cell backhaul configuration, they need to have dedicated bandwidth that supports the use cases of each one of these sites. So in this case, we'll have, for example, a tower providing LTE or 5G services. So our customer wants to deploy their FDMA STAR network, or virtual hub, on the OpenSpace system. What we can see is we have an operational support system, or an OSS, and OpenSpace employs a software-defined network controller and a network function virtualized orchestrator. These two work in conjunction to take instructions from the OSS layer, translate those into a requirement to deploy a virtualized hub. So let's pretend that the customer orders a virtualized SATCOM hub in an FDMA configuration. The OSS looks at the resources required for this particular satellite. Again, using our software-defined satellite layer, the OSS and the satellite resource manager work in conjunction to identify the amount of capacity for the forward link carriers for these sites, as well as the return link carriers for each one of those sites. Their computation in the SRM meets the requirements for the deployment, then the SRM gives the OSS information to say it's okay to deploy that service. Based on the definition of the particular star-based network, the OSS then employs some commands to the software-defined network controller, which translates those into the NFVO, or our NFV orchestration layer. And that NFVO instructs the cloud NFVI to produce a virtualized hub, which employs a shared forward carrier transmitter, a return carrier group channelizer, and a number of receivers, and a virtualized packet processor. That complete system can be stood up virtualized within the OpenSpace Cloud NFVI, and once that particular star has been orchestrated and stood up, the connection to the gateway of choice becomes made through a forward channel transmitter to the combiner on the gateway feed service, as well as connectivity from the return downlink into the star channelizer. At this point, each one of the terminals that are in the network receive their configurations and come onto the network through the downlink of the software-defined satellite and into the fully virtualized SATCOM hub. So let's take another example from our previous situation. So in our last example, we had an FDMA STAR providing capabilities to several remote satellite terminals, which are providing cellular backhaul connectivity for remote LTE or 5G systems. Let's say that the customer has decided that a few of those sites are actually in demand and want to have dedicated bandwidth for the capacities that they're serving. They can simply ask the portal to change the configuration of those terminals to SCPC point-to-point modems. Again, coming from the FDM STAR, redeploying that site on SCPC modem. So if we look at how that would look, we previously had our FDMA STAR, which was deployed. What this allows us to do is take the site that was previously plumbed into the FDMA STAR network and move it to dedicated capacity in the gateway feed, allowing that site to be running in a fully dedicated capability. What our system allows us to do is then change the parameters of the connectivity, whether it be a dedicated single carrier per channel solution for a dedicated link, or actually in a shared STAR environment to save some capacity in sites that don't need dedicated one-to-one bandwidth. This is all very flexibly managed within the OpenSpace platform, again, fully virtualized in conjunction with the upper layer of our customer environment for the operational service and support systems, in conjunction with our satellite resource manager, in conjunction with the satellite layer. What this then does is stitch together our dynamic satellite layer to our dynamic ground layer to our dynamic service layer directly to the customer. So now that I've shown you how a dynamic space layer and a dynamic ground layer can work in conjunction with each other, let's talk a bit about some of the reasons you might want to do that and what the value of those systems are to your business. So the first thing we can see as we describe the capability is, one, I can have a dynamic service creation, Meaning, if I have a customer that calls me and they want a capability of a system that I may not have today, I can analyze whether my spacecraft can support that configuration in the area of their need. I can dynamically change the configuration of that satellite to meet those requirements. The ground system will adapt to those, and I can then automatically provision those services in the virtual cloud within the OpenSpace platform to enable my customer to deploy that service that they wish. Because we don't always know what the services a customer may need, OpenSpace also provides support for multiple satellite topologies. In this case, multiple topologies. In this case, we can, deciding on how the customer wants to run their operation, we can deploy SCPC services or virtual hub services using FDMA technologies or TDMA technologies. The last one is I might want to then take the benefit of those multiple topologies and deploy them and take advantage of the fact that these are not purpose-built or mission-specific hardware components. So specifically, we're able to deploy these dynamic services with our multiple topologies on generic, non-purpose-built, x86, commercial off-the-shelf servers. What this allows me to do is then balance the needs of my network and the needs of my private or public cloud to those services that I need to create. Lastly, these things done in conjunction offer fast time to revenue for a customer who's looking to support services in a new and emerging market or changing their business based on seasonality or changes in demand. For more information about OpenSpace satellite communication solutions, visit kratosdefense.com/satcom.